Margie Daly, Karen's district. City manager, monarchy, dictatorship, might as well go back to British rule. Groupthink type government, a green giant of power grabs.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We are going to be starting up a new regular segment. And this part of the show is probably going to be expanding, but we're going to be starting off today with Tryston Gilbert, and we're going to be reviewing what's been going on at the Madison City Council meetings. We're working on getting somebody lined up to give us regular updates about the Huntsville City Council. And if anybody out there is interested and currently watches or is maybe interested in beginning to watch the Decatur and Athens City Council meetings, we'd love to be able to get regular updates from those four cities on the show. So, you know, if you're already doing that, then definitely hit up the show. Or if you want to do that and work with us on getting those updates out there, then feel free to reach out.
Right. I mean, even if you don't feel comfortable appearing on live radio or on video, understand that. But if you are already attending your local city council meetings or other government agencies, for that matter, school board or county commission, if you're already there and you're taking notes and kind of passing those notes along to whoever it may be, your friends, your neighbors, your, county party, whatever it may be, hit us up. See if there's a way we can collaborate and we can put your information out there and, of course, give you credit for that and help pass that information along to inform the community.
Yep. So, like I said, Tryston Gilbert, he's our next guest. He is a city council watcher. He's been watching the Madison City Council for a while now. And so, since he's doing that already, figured why don't we bring him on the show to talk about it. So, Tryston, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, Jacob. I appreciate you having me on to talk about what's been going down in Madison. Hopefully it'll be entertaining for your listeners. It's not been bad for me. Would you like me to start with my overall themes?
Yeah, go ahead. And so, we figured because this is the first time that we're going to be doing this, it'll maybe be a little bit more succinct in future months, but we figured it might be worth having just an overview of what's been going on the last 3 months, and we can dig into a couple of the issues. But yeah, so what have been the big themes at the Madison City Council meetings over the last few months?
So the three big things that have been going on since November are currently, for number one, Madison is considering transitioning to a city manager form of government. It's currently a council to mayor form of government, where the council is the sort of legislative branch and the mayor handles the executive work, the day-to-day operations. If they switch to a city manager branch, the mayor will become instead a member of the council, sort of the seventh at-large member voted on by the whole city, so not per district. And instead of him doing day-to-day things, the entire council would then elect a city manager or hire a city manager. Theoretically, this is somebody who would have credentials in local government and somebody who would stay on as a steady sort of a steady bureaucratic hand throughout multiple administrations. And those two forms of government, both mayor to council and council to manager, are pretty common throughout the country. There's a couple of others, but those are the two big ones. And I personally don't see a huge number of changes coming if they implement that. I usually try to gauge a government's form's value by like how democratic it is, and I kind of see pros and cons to both. But there are some people who are regular commenters at the meetings who are a little more impassioned about their opinions, particularly for or against that change. So I'm interested to see where it goes. I know the main spearheading group behind pushing for a city manager form of government is a group called Madison Forward. They have a .org you can look them up at if anybody's interested to know more about that. And later on, or whenever you want to run it, I did have a clip from somebody who appeared to speak about that. But do you have any questions on that theme before we move on?
Yeah. Well, let's actually, Adam, I want to go ahead and play that clip, actually, because it does seem, it seems kind of, this particular thing, like you mentioned, I don't really have a strong opinion about it. I would be interested after we play this clip. I'd be interested in Madison Forward's argument for it, and maybe some of the less bombastic arguments against it. But Adam, let's play this from Margie.
Okay, I think I know exactly which one you've labeled it.
Yes.
Margie Daly, Karen's district. City manager, monarchy, dictatorship. We might as well go back to British rule. A group think type government. A green giant of power grabs. Plausible deniability silences the voices of we the people. Zero public input, even less transparency. Madison Forward petition signatures were collected under less than honest, truthful means. Deceptive, nefarious at best. We will not be anything like Auburn, Vestavia Hills, or Mountain Brook. They've had that for decades, the 1960s and the 1980s. The new law updates bring us a socialist groupthink structure. We won't give up our constitutional rights and choose to implement the corporate board with as few as 5 people to run our city. I believe many voters moved here to get away from crime, regulations, multiple level dwellings, needle exchanges, high taxes, lobbyists, big government, etc. Taking our constitutional rights, eliminating separation of powers, eliminating the executive branch of government, eliminating our votes on the person who runs our city in perpetuity. You took our lighting on the main roads in the older neighborhoods. Ordinance to no longer prosecute small crimes, opioid settlement for a needle exchange. Our city has enough intellectually competent citizens. They can look up what a city manager is online. This government type is failing all over our nation. Corruption in most cases. It's used globally. Sponsored by the Rockefeller Foundation. City manager is globalist. Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, China, etc. Madison needs updated infrastructure and road repairs. Giving us only piecemeal while developers, Ball Corps, MVP receive all our tax dollars. We need road improvements, traffic lights, water and sewerage is insufficient. There's about 15 supposed grassroots nonprofit, yet they consist of the same 10 people. You have no clue how to treat your constituents and build a secure, safe city. We must not allow you to steal our government structure by deception. Install a selected individual. Deny our right to choose an elected by the people mayor. Vote no city manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Staley.
All right, so that was
Ooh, that was a lot.
That was a lot there, but I think the first thing that just has to be mentioned is that she's a Yankee. I mean, right? Like, that's the first thing.
I did wonder where that accent came from. I couldn't quite place it.
And I ain't from around here, that's for sure. That's
To commend her though on sticking to her 3-minute window to speak. There's a lot of people that go over that as a habit. She's very practiced. I believe she's there every week. What a character.
Yeah. So does the city manager proposal include directives for the city manager to institute needle exchanges, more multi-level housing, and socialism? And I mean, is that in the proposal?
Not as far as I'm aware. Maybe my research is lacking there. I do have Madison Forward's website pulled up. I'm still learning some of this myself, but I can read some of their bullet points.
Do you happen, before you get to that, do you happen to see China, Cuba, Venezuela, are there fingerprints on this?
Oh, there it is in the fine print. It's way at the bottom of the note.
See, that's how they get you.
I thought there was a little hammer and sickle down there at the bottom of the website. It's those damn globalists.
Right. I thought this was a very local issue. Yeah, so looking at Madison Forward's website, they have some drop downs. Probably the most relevant one for us is who benefits from a council manager form of government. In their words, they say Madison residents because they gain continuity and accountability in city government as well as increased transparency. Not sure I agree with that one, but moving on, their Madison City school system benefits because it can engage in a more long-term strategic planning with the city and reap the benefits of a stronger economy. Madison City Hall because a trained certified professional runs the day-to-day operations of the city, freeing up the mayor to advocate more for Madison and Montgomery and beyond. And city employees because they're hired based on their education and experience, not on political patronage. I think that the points 2 through 4 have some weight behind them. The entire idea is that it creates some continuity in who is running the day-to-day operations of the city. I actually, on the first one where they gain a layer of accountability and transparency, I'm not really sure. Margie might have a point on that one.
I would push back on that as well.
Yeah, that seems dubious.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about an unelected executive running the day-to-day operations of the city, I find that hard to believe that somehow there's more accountability involved. To your point, I see what they're saying with the other bits of rationale. I'm not so sure I agree or disagree one way or the other, but I see what they're saying. But the first,
and there's definitely an argument that Margie has. The Cuba bit aside, there's
right. Yeah, I mean, okay, obviously Miss Margie is a confused woman. If she believes that the Rockefellers, Venezuela, China,
are interested
Cuba,
in Madison City municipal government,
right, and that somehow they're all on the same side, and also that socialism promotes corporate board management. Anyway,
but yeah, so that's interesting though about the civil service in Madison. Is there not already some sort of is that how municipal employees in Madison are picked? Is every time there's a new mayor elected, they throw out the old everybody and there's no regular civil service?
I doubt that they throw out everybody and do mass layoffs or firings, but what I do think is that one benefit of the manager is that they would be elected by the entire board, which would include the mayor. So the mayor is somebody that every resident gets a vote on, and then they each have their district representatives as well. So it's not a complete lack of transparency, and I can see the benefits from it. They were talking in some of the meetings about how currently the people that handle the day-to-day operations are just chosen at the pleasure of the mayor, whoever that is, but it was the mayor himself making that claim. So maybe there's a beef with a previous mayor that I am not aware of. I've only been living in Madison for a couple of years now, and I'm technically not in one of these districts. So I'm right outside it in this strange Huntsville district that wraps around the entirety of Madison. The map is entertaining, but maybe it lends me some objectivity. I can listen in without rippling the water too much, you could say.
Yeah, before we go on to the next point, we had a Free American 2020 in the chat said that she left out that having a city manager will promote abortion and kick kittens. So these are important things to know. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.